Hey folks, Brendan from Bluelight here. Now, a lot of you might be asking the question, once you succeed in the recruitment process, then what? Well, of course, you've got this amazing career ahead of you, up to 35 years, and it's your responsibility to make it as fulfilling and as successful as possible. But that's not going to happen by happy accident. It's going to happen by absolute design. And one of the ways we do this is through the Bluelight In-Force Advancement Group. This is a group of police officers, serving police officers, who meet every week for 2 hours, where we run a weekly workshop to help support those individuals, and we support each other as well. There's loads of ideas come from the group, which is what I love about it. We meet every week and we practice interview questions, we talk about techniques, we talk about how to prepare for application forms, and it's that sort of long-term planning which is going to enable you to succeed, because there's no point in suddenly realizing I've got my promotion board next month. Oh my goodness, where am I going to get all the evidence from? If you've not recorded it anywhere, if you've not set your stall out, if you've not deliberately gone about putting yourself in situations where you can push yourself into those opportunities where you can demonstrate the behaviors that are required, then you're going to be fishing around and scrabbling around at the last minute, and you may pass, but you run a big chance of failing. And that's what we're dead set against in the advancement group. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we covered in the last 2-hour session. That's part of it. I'll come to that in a moment. I'm just looking at my notes. Several individuals attended, majority of them going for promotion from PC to sergeant, sergeant to inspector. And one of the very first questions that was posed was, tell me about a time when you've had to make a difficult decision where you've had to account for that decision to others. Now, the individual who gave that answer, if I can quote them after they've given it, said, "It's how I tell a colleague about a job." This is not how we need to talk at an interview. Now, we need to be authentic. We need to be our real authentic selves and speak from the heart. But it's not like telling someone about a job in the night kitchen. Got to be a little bit more structured than that and add more detail. And the other thing that we looked at was how that the answer itself wasn't sergeanty enough. It demonstrated how this individual was an awesome constable in their specialist role, but they weren't thinking at a different level. They weren't thinking at sergeant level. And so the answer lacked the things that the assessors will be looking for, where the actual incident itself provided everything that was needed for the individual to be able to talk themselves up to the behaviours required at sergeant level, not constable level. So next we moved on to doing. Yes, still on difficult decisions. We then ramped it up a little bit for an individual who's going for the rank of inspector. And this, we talked about 2 different options. One of them was something that was straight out of the book, actually. It was all force policy, very national decision model friendly. And the second one was a decision that really pulled on the heartstrings a little bit. It involved lots of people. It involved strong emotions. It involved some people who were very sort of budget orientated and policy orientated versus people who were very much thinking with their hearts. We all decided that the second example would be the more awesome one. And it reminded me of my interview board for inspector, where I gave this, I thought it was an awesome example of an armed strike. I can't remember what the official language is for it now, but an armed strike on a vehicle that was carrying 4 on board that had just committed an armed robbery. And we got the bad guys and they all got locked up and they all got sentenced to long imprisonment. And it was just a great job all round. Tea and medals. And the second one answer I gave was about how I supported an acting sergeant who was having trouble at the hospital with social services, the ward sister, and the estranged parents of this little baby who was just a day old. And they couldn't find a solution, and the sergeant was falling out with the ward sister and social service. It was all going pear-shaped. And I turned up, and 1 hour later managed to ensure the sergeant didn't lose face, and also ensure that there was a negotiated solution which everyone was happy with, except for Daddy, just got given his marching orders. And that one, you know, out of the 2, that's the one they loved. The other one was just doing my job. I actually got that feedback to say Temporary Inspector O'Brien gave an example of where he did his job. Right, thank you, board. That hurt. Still passed, still got made substantive, but that was a really interesting discussion we had. And then we moved on to public service. And again, one of the candidates gave a great example of how they'd followed force policy, done everything correctly, delivered a great service at the scene of a road traffic collision. Did his job, just did his job. And he couldn't understand why that wasn't an awesome example until we started looking at behaviours that were required and the value of public service. And then he came up with an awesome, honestly, this example was just brilliant. All around community tensions. I'm not going to go into it in any more depth than that, but it was community tensions in Northern Ireland. And oh my goodness, why didn't you think of that in the first place? It was just an incredible example of public service. So that's what this workshop enables us to do. It enables us to bat ideas around, share good practice, things that have worked in one force, and share it with people from another force. I don't believe there's anything like it. I'm really enjoying running it, folks. I'm really, really enjoying running it. So there's another one next week, and I'd invite you to come and join us. And how much? How much did you say? It's got to be a cost. Of course there's a cost. This is how I offer an amazing service. I hope I continue to deliver an amazing service, an awesome service. I add value to your journey as a police officer. But I want to make sure it's value at a cost which is unbelievable to you. So the price you last paid for a cup of coffee and a donut, there I'm being cliched, a cup of coffee and a pastry, if you're a little bit more upmarket, pulling your leg. That's how much it is a month. It's a monthly subscription, £4.99, and you're not tied to any sort of 1 year minimum contract or anything like that. If you don't like it, leave. And if you don't like it in the first month, just let me know and I'll refund that £4.99 for you. I mean, how fair is that? The thing is, I get to make a living out of this, and that's just awesome. And I'm really, really enjoying it. I've got to say, I am really enjoying helping to support those of you who are in service. Now, many of you who've actually come through the services I've provided to assist you in the police recruitment process. So it's just awesome that I'm getting this opportunity to add value to your careers, and long may that continue. So there you go, a summary. And for those of you who missed it, who are in the Enforce Advancement group, there's a recording of it in the Facebook group, so you can watch that at your leisure. Trust me, the only people who get into that group are serving police officers. So, and nothing is shared which is confidential. No one would be that daft. Everyone gets that rider at the very beginning anyway. So, hope you've found this useful. If you'd like to join that group, there's a link below. And I look forward to seeing you on one of the weekly workshops. Let's see what I can do to help enable your career to be not just successful, but really fulfilling as well. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye for now.